What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, y aquí estoy con el amigazo, el cabrón.
Gershwan.
Today we're back at it to eat some chimichangas in another episode of For the Greater.
That's actually my go-to
Chimichangas?
order when I go to a fake Mexican restaurant, like the one that's geared towards like Americans.
Yeah, I've never had them.
Chimichangas are really good.
What
Especially
what are they?
It's just a fried burrito, and then they put some type of cheese sauce on top of it. It's really, really good.
Interesting.
But yeah, for all those non-authentic Mexican restaurants, that's the go-to order. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Ebard, is that? Yes, Ebard Thon did. He asks, would the man emperor have his own warp realm if he became a warp god? Yes, we did a video last week, and we were talking about how the emperor is becoming a god, and the explanation for it, or the proof for that, is that there have already been gods that have been created within the canon of Warhammer 40K, and those are the Eldar gods, Slaanesh, and like you could even argue that it's gonna be wait, what's the Eldar god, the latest one?
Ennead.
Yeah, Ennead. We'll get into that later. But basically, the Emperor is coming, or he is becoming a god in the warp. He is manifesting his own realm, and proof for that is the fact that he has an army of the light. One of the big army of the light, like warriors, are the Legion of the Damned. And we know that the Legion of the Damned were actually the Firehawks chapter, or at least it was not the whole chapter, but
those that have perished.
Yeah, and they went into the warp. They got lost, and the theory is that they actually went into the warp and found the Emperor's realm, which is being created. Because when you think of the warp, you're supposed to think of it as like a current of emotions, and coalescing is the worship of the God of Order, or the Emperor. He is basically Malal too. So for all those guys asking, is what if he was Malal? He is, because Malal was the fifth Chaos God. That was the renegade Chaos God. So he was the Chaos God against Chaos Gods, and that's what the Emperor is. He is the God, the Chaos God of Order.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And then you also, from all the comments that we saw in that one video, it's always important to remember that chaos does not mean evil. Chaos is just turbulence. Like nothing really makes sense within the warp. Doesn't mean that it's evil though.
Right.
Which is why when you look at like chaos gods, like you look at Crone, he's the god of blood, skulls, fighting, but he's also the god of triumph. So honor. If you feel honorable for fighting a certain type of way, then boom, you're enhancing Crone. And it goes, on with Slaanesh and the perfection. Like, perfection is good.
Right.
But yeah. And yeah, so I hope that answers that question. Will we ever see the realm of the the God Emperor? Maybe in the future.
Yeah, but if anything, I feel like that's something that's going to happen, like, not in the next edition, but like the next reiteration of Warhammer, like Warhammer 40K or something like that.
Yeah, what would be cool is if we get hints of it, and because you don't necessarily have to say, yes, the Emperor is becoming a god and give him like an entity before you say there's a part of the warp that is actually pretty orderly and it's strange, and this is where the Legion of the Damned and the Imperial Saints have seen visions of, or whatever. So we'll see what happens. Next question.
This one's by Alex Man 2020. Can non-navigator human psychers guide ships through the warp, aside from the Emperor? Yeah, pretty much anybody can navigate a ship, as can be seen with like rogue traders, but it's very dangerous and it's super risky, so it's not done often. Yeah,
astropaths are really the way to go, and usually you have a whole like team of astropaths. No, sorry, navigators.
Navigators, there you go.
Yeah. Next question comes from the Galrants. Who is the most deadliest and powerful warp entity in all of Warhammer 40K? You say Warhammer, but I'm guessing you mean Warhammer 40K. The answer, well, you know what? I would say that it is one of the Chaos Gods. Would you agree?
Yeah, probably.
Which one do you? Because this is just
Yeah.
speculation, but which one do you think is the most powerful?
The more I think about it, I want to say corn because the more you like, I'm going based off of like primal instincts and survival, which also has a lot to do with Nurgle. But I feel like you have to fight or flight, and like fighting is like a human instinct, and just because of that, I'm gonna go corn.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like Korn will never die because he's a Goonie. But I also feel that the grand schemer is Zinch, so I think Zinch is a stronger one.
Right, but I mean, you can't scheme if you don't have your what is
People's-
it? The 3 levels of like, because isn't it you need shelter, food, and
Oh, like it's primordial.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Because it's like once you have shelter and food on that last thing that I can't remember, then you can start scheming to get ahead of things. But until those basic necessities are met, then it's just primal instincts going hard.
maybe, yeah. But I still think that at this point, Zinch kind of can control Korn's like rage.
Yeah, I could see that happening, or at least like make it flow in a certain direction.
Yeah, so in the beginning, yeah, Korn I bet was probably the first core or chaos god to form, and then maybe Nurgle. But I think nowadays, I think Zinch. I'd give it a Zinch. Zinch, I feel would be her or his greater demons are a better. Like like they can see into the future. And then whereas a bloodthirster is just a bloodthirster.
Right, but in the grimdark future of 40K, there is only war,
Yep.
not schemes. War. That's why I think Nurgle or Korn's got it. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Tell us.
If
down
anybody
below.
says Nurgle, don't say small holes.
Say big holes.
Big holes. Next question. I have one from Static Locks. Why aren't there any female space marines? In the lore, it says that the gene seed organs were created specifically for males. The reason for that is when Games Workshop was creating the Space Marines, their main demographic was guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're fulfilling your fantasy of becoming a badass superhuman warrior, and there weren't that many women playing, maybe. But nowadays, you have the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, the Sisters of Silence back in 30K.
Yep. So there's like
The
there is
Inquisitors.
a thing that you can play as a female super warrior. But yeah, that's the reason why. Gene seed.
Gene seed.
Next question. This one go ahead.
This one's by Andres Borboa. Saludos desde Morelia, Michoacán, México. His pregunta is, ¿qué le pasó al dios Baal de los Eldar? AKA, what happened to the chaos or the Eldar god Baal?
That's a really good question because he was one of like the main deities. Yeah. So without him, Asia would have never been freed. Without him, the swords of Baal would have never been forged. Without him, there would never be a conflict between him and Cain.
Right. He's a key player in a lot of things.
Yeah, but what ended up happening to him is he just got consumed by Slanesh, the god anyways.
Yeah.
If you check out our 40 facts on how the Emperor is becoming a god, or proof that the Emperor is becoming a god, you know that Baal was actually the manifestation of the veneration of an old one named Baal, who was probably some type of like old one engineer or something, and he probably left. He left the galaxy because of the enslaver plague. So I hope that answers both questions.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Brent Hinkle. In your previous video, you mentioned chaos gods corrupting the Emperor through the warp. But if he were to ascend to become a god, could they still corrupt him, or could he corrupt them? I don't think that either one could corrupt each other. I think it would be like Khorne and Slanesh. They would always just do battle.
Mm-hmm.
But you never see like Khorne becoming more like Slaanesh or Slaanesh becoming more like Khorne. They are representations of different emotions, kind of, and forever be a war.
They know their boundaries. But at the same time, it's like, if you're trying to be the best warrior, that also kind of seeps into Slaanesh with the whole perfection thing. And it's like, when you kill an enemy, you feel good, not being the one that's dead. So that also feeds into Slaanesh. So yeah, they dip into each other's pools, so to speak, but they're pretty solid as to what each individual god represents.
Yeah, they dip their toes into the pools of the warp.
Yes. This isn't a question, but I thought it was hilarious how this Justin Lowe says that Gork and Mork are like Twix. One's brutally cunning, the other one's cunningly brutal. And it's like you got, what is it? Cookies and
Nugget,
and then nugget and cookies.
Something
like that.
There's two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly like that.
I don't like Twix.
I do. Why don't you like Twix?
I don't know. I feel like the bottom is too like flat.
You want it to be wavy?
I guess.
Crunch? Do you like Crunch?
Crunch is my favorite candy bar, hands down.
I like Crunch. I like Kit Kats.
Kit Kats, they aight.
They're good. Next question comes from Pikachu Nut. Hey OMS, love the videos. Is it possible that a planet was pulled into the warp, but in a calmer place that would let them continue technologically developing from the golden age or the Imperial Truth without interruption from demons or other factions? Yes. So there are these planets called Crone worlds, and the Crone worlds were basically the major worlds of the Eldar Empire when the Eldar were like at the height of their power, and then the birth of Slaanesh consumed the majority of those Crone worlds, and they were pulled into the Eye of Terror. Mm-hmm. There have been expeditions to these Crone worlds, and on these Crone worlds, yes, they are considered demon worlds, but they're not necessarily like just places of pure evil.
Right.
If you check out our 40 facts on the ascension to demonhood of, I want to say, Fulgrim, then that story takes you to a Crone world where the Eldar are living like normal, kind of. They're like ghosts. It's basically like a ghost town because they were separated from everybody else and they can't leave, because if they leave, they're like right in the warp. So yes, that can happen. Build some fan lore around it, send it to us, and we'll take a look.
Or maybe you have like hive worlds with like pockets of Geller fields that only protect those hives.
That'd be really badass if you can convert a Geller field to work
do
on a
something
hive
like that.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good like Imperial Guard regiment fan lore type of thing to do. Like it's an actual demon world, and they're being tithed, but not intentionally, because like of course the Imperium wouldn't want those tithes. But yeah.
Yeah. Private Slacker. If the YouTube community made a 40K movie, which YouTube celebrity should play which 40K character? That's interesting.
That's a tough one too. It's been a while since I've watched like the coolness of YouTube.
Yeah.
Is Casey Neistat still cool?
I don't think he's doing YouTube anymore. Right?
No.
I think the big ones would still be like the PewDiePies, the KSI and Logan Paul and all that stuff.
I feel like Cutie Pie. I feel like, is that why he calls himself that? I feel that PewDiePie would be like, he's a whiner. He would be a really good Lorgar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't watch these people, so I don't know. I'm not one of the ones that subscribe to get PewDiePie to beat what was it?
To beat that other channel. Yeah.
T-Series or whatever. Yeah, I've never seen any of their videos. Sean
from Hot Ones would be a really good like.
He's very charismatic.
He'd be like a good Rogaldorn.
Yeah.
Or even like a Gilliman. But yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
We'll think about it. You guys comment down in the comment section below, and then we can read those off. What YouTube celebrity would be a good... We keep saying Primarchs. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be a Primarch. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Does Lisa Ann count?
And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. We enjoy answering these questions. And if we didn't get to your question, we'll answer it next time. So ask again.
Ask. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out of here.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.